What happens when a reckless biker decides to push a royal guard to his limits? You won't believe the twist of fate that awaits him. Get ready for a story of arrogance, unexpected consequences, and a valuable lesson in respect that leaves everyone stunned. It was a sunny afternoon in London, and the city buzzed with the energy of tourists, each person eager to relish the rich history and culture that surrounded them. Among the throngs of people was Jake, a brash and adventurous biker known for his daredevil antics and a desire to push boundaries. Dressed in his signature leather jacket, adorned with patches that illustrated stories of his travels, he exuded an air of confidence that attracted attention. As he rode through the city streets on his roaring motorcycle, Jake felt invincible. The rush of wind in his hair and the throaty growl of his bike fueled his bravado. He enjoyed the attention his bike commanded and reveled in the thrill of life on two wheels. Today, however, he would encounter a challenge that would test not only his bravado, but also his understanding of respect. Arriving at Buckingham Palace, Jake couldn't help but notice the iconic royal guards standing tall at their posts, donned in their striking red uniforms and imposing bearskin hats. With their stoic expressions and unwavering discipline, they represented centuries of tradition. The sight intrigued him. After all, he lived for the adrenaline rush and the unexpected. As he parked his motorcycle, a devilish idea struck him. Why not have a little fun with one of those guards? His friends, who had accompanied him, egged him on, laughing, as the atmosphere bubbled with reckless enthusiasm. The crowd was gathering for the changing of the guard ceremony, and Jake decided to seize the spotlight. In a spur-of-the-moment decision, he strode over to one of the guards, a young man with a focused gaze and a firm stance. "Hey, mate, what's the matter? Can't even smile?" Jake taunted, trying to provoke a reaction. The onlookers began to notice and whisper amongst themselves. Ignoring Jake's insults, the guard remained motionless, his expression betraying no emotion. Frustrated by the lack of response, Jake pushed the guard with force, intending to throw him off balance. The guard stumbled back slightly, but regained his composure almost instantly, reflecting years of training to withstand such provocations without flinching. Gasps resonated through the crowd, torn between shock and amusement. Some laughed at the audacity of Jake's actions, while others scolded him for his blatant disrespect. The guard, maintaining his stoic facade, slowly turned to face Jake, the corners of his mouth twitching slightly as he processed the situation. However, in that moment of arrogance, karma was already preparing its response. As Jake stepped backward, expecting cheers and laughter, his foot caught on the uneven cobblestones beneath him. He stumbled, arms flailing, and before he knew it, he was falling towards the guard, who stood steady and unwavering. Time seemed to slow down. The laughter of the crowd turned into gasps of disbelief as Jake collided with the guard, sending them both crashing to the ground in a tangled heap. The scenario that started as a bravado-induced prank quickly spiraled into a scene that left everyone stunned. "Now that's what I call poetic justice," someone shouted from the crowd, breaking the silence that followed the fall. The laughter that ensued echoed through the courtyard, reverberating around the historical site, magnifying Jake's embarrassment. Feeling the heat of humiliation scorch his cheeks, Jake scrambled to his feet. His friends were doubling over in laughter, but all he could focus on was the guard, who remained calm and composed despite the unexpected turn of events. The guard stood back up, brushing off his uniform with the kind of grace that characterized the royal custodians. Rather than displaying anger or frustration, he looked at Jake with an inscrutable expression, a mix of pity and understanding that left Jake feeling vulnerable. "Do you find this amusing?" the guard asked in a steady voice that resonated with authority. Jake, face burning with shame, opened his mouth to respond but couldn't find the words. The momentary confidence he had felt dissipated like fog in the morning sun. The realization of his disrespectful actions weighed heavily on him, and the laughter of bystanders became a cacophony of self-reflection. I didn't mean it like that," Jake finally stammered, desperately attempting to regain composure. The lesson was sinking in quickly, and he was forced to confront the ramifications of his thoughtless actions. "You should learn to respect those who serve. the guard said, his tone firm yet devoid of malice. For a moment, Jake contemplated the reality of the situation. Here he was, a brash biker, having underestimated not only the dignity of the royal guard but also the power of humility. The evening's antics had served as a severe wake-up call. Reflecting on the event, Jake took a step back. "You're right," he admitted, the weight of his arrogance settling within him. "That was completely out of line. I'm really sorry." As the tension dissipated, the crowd's laughter transformed into supportive murmurs, applauding the guard's calm demeanor and Jake's display of humility. "Next time, think twice before you act." The guard replied with a nod, his unwavering gaze softening slightly. With gratitude bubbling beneath the embarrassment, Jake realized he had learned an invaluable lesson that day. As he picked up his leather jacket, he felt a renewed sense of purpose. He would strive not only to embrace adventure, but to respect the traditions and people he came across in his journeys. New character introduction. In the aftermath of the incident, Jake's life took on a new trajectory. Alongside his friends, he began reflecting on the values they held dear. One friend, Sarah, stood out among them. A fellow biker, she was fiercely passionate about riding and equally committed to advocating for safety and respect within the biking community. "Jake, you have to understand that our image matters. We can't just be known for reckless stunts," Sarah said, her tone serious but caring. She often took the lead in organizing charity rides to raise awareness for various causes, and she believed Jake could channel his energy positively. "Let's turn your experience into a lesson for others," Sarah suggested. "You could share your story with the community about how a moment of arrogance can lead to unexpected consequences. It's time we use our passion for biking for something greater." Jake felt inspired by Sarah's words. "You know what? You're right. I'll share my story. Maybe it'll make a difference. People need to understand the importance of respect." Determined to embrace this new purpose, Jake joined Sarah in planning events aimed at fostering positive interactions between bikers and the broader community. They organized rides that would stop at local schools and community centers to discuss safety, respect, and the importance of understanding different perspectives. The charity ride. A few weeks later, they organized a charity ride to support veterans. Jake and Sarah rallied their fellow bikers, encouraging everyone to wear their gear and ride proudly for a cause that resonated deeply with them both. The event was set to begin at the iconic Trafalgar Square, a fitting location that would attract crowds and attention. As the day approached, Jake put effort into making flyers, reaching out to local businesses for sponsorship, and promoting the event on social media. The excitement grew, and local news outlets began covering the ride, drawing in participants from across the city. On the day of the charity ride, thousands gathered at Trafalgar Square, a sea of leather jackets and gleaming motorcycles. The atmosphere was electric, filled with laughter, camaraderie, and a shared purpose. Jake spoke on stage, recounting the incident with the Royal Guard, transforming his past embarrassment into a powerful lesson about humility and respect. "I once thought I could do whatever I wanted without consequences," Jake said, his voice steady as he addressed the crowd. "But that moment of arrogance turned into a lesson that changed my life. We, as bikers, have a reputation to uphold. It's our responsibility to respect not only the law, but also the men and women who serve and protect our communities." The crowd erupted in applause, resonating with his words. Riders cheered, and many expressed their own stories of learning and growth. The camaraderie was palpable. One person's voice turned into a collective message of unity and commitment. After the speeches, the motorcycles roared to life as participants revved their engines in anticipation. With Jake and Sarah leading the way, the riders set off through the streets of London. They wound through historic alleyways and along iconic landmarks, creating a spectacle that drew onlookers and sparked conversations. As the ride concluded at a community center, various booths were set up to offer resources for veterans, civic education, and talks about the importance of resilience and support. The bikers engaged with attendees, sharing stories and building connections that would hopefully foster future collaborations. The Royal Guard's role. Unbeknownst to Jake, The incident that had started it all had not only resonated within the biking community, but also reached the guard he had pushed. The guard, whose name was Marcus, had shared the story with his fellow soldiers, highlighting the importance of their role not just as protectors, but also as figures capable of inspiring change. As the charity ride gained momentum and coverage, the media picked up on the inspiring stories stemming from the incident, including one brave royal guard who was committed to reinforcing positive relationships within the community. Intrigued by the burgeoning movement, Marcus reached out to Sarah and Jake, expressing his willingness to be involved and share his perspective. "I'd love to join you for future events," Marcus said when he met with Jake and Sarah. "Being a royal guard is more than just standing still. It's about the respect we earn, and that goes both ways. I believe our shared experiences can encourage more dialogue in our community." Jake was taken aback by Marcus's humility and willingness to collaborate. "I'd be honored to have you on board," he said, feeling the weight of their connection shift from adversaries to partners. Community impact. With Marcus on board, their events continued to grow in popularity. Together, they organized bike safety workshops and community cleanup days, using their platforms to bridge gaps between their worlds. The interactions between bikers and the community transformed, presenting opportunities to learn about one another and break stereotypes. Marcus shared his experiences in the armed forces, discussing how respect and discipline were fundamental elements of his training. He answered questions from residents, demystifying the role of the Royal Guards, and teaching the importance of understanding differing perspectives. As Jake and Sarah continued to lead these initiatives, Jake found solace in knowing that he was contributing positively to something larger than himself. He no longer sought the adrenaline rush from reckless behavior. Instead, he thrived on the empowerment of others and the stories that unfolded through their interactions. Months later, the charity ride garnered recognition from city officials, receiving awards that highlighted their efforts to promote respect and connection within the community. Jake reflected on how far he had come from that fateful day at Buckingham Palace, recognizing that every action could lead to an opportunity for change. A fateful reunion. To celebrate their achievements, Jake, Sarah, and Marcus planned a large end-of-year event, inviting everyone who had participated in the charity rides and community programs throughout the year. It was a gathering to recognize the impact they had made together and to share plans for the upcoming summer. As the event began, laughter and chatter filled the atmosphere, and the camaraderie was stronger than ever. While mingling with the crowd, Jake suddenly spotted Marcus in conversation with some of their mutual friends. The memories of their first encounter came rushing back, reminding him how far they had both come. "Marcus!" Jake called out, walking over to greet him. The guard turned and smiled, recognizing the transformation both men had undergone since that fateful day. "Good to see you again, Jake," Marcus replied warmly. "It feels like a lifetime since our worlds collided, right? Who would have thought a moment of arrogance could lead to this?" Jake chuckled, gesturing to the lively atmosphere surrounding them. "Thank you for your support over the past few months. I genuinely believe we're making a difference." "We are," Marcus agreed, his expression serious yet proud. "And who knows the impact our actions may have on the generations to come?" As they continued their conversation, Sarah joined them, beaming with pride. "You both have turned a moment of chaos into a movement that's instilling values of respect in our community. We should celebrate this achievement." With their shared goals and newfound friendship, they looked ahead to future initiatives. They envisioned creating mentorship programs where veterans and bikers would collaborate to teach youth about responsibility, respect, and the importance of serving others. Embracing change. As the seasons changed, so did their initiatives. They launched programs that reached out to schools, partnering with educators to provide valuable lessons on diversity, respect, and personal growth. The empowerment fostered through these workshops began to resonate within the community, with students sharing their own stories of change and determination. As Jake took to the streets on his motorcycle, he often reflected on the events that led him to this moment. He felt grateful for the lessons learned and the friendships forged. The simple act of pushing a royal guard had ignited a passion for positive change, and he made sure to honor that lesson daily. The community transformed, as did the relationships between the bikers and the citizens around them. The fierce image of leather-clad bikers shifted to one of collaboration and understanding. Media coverage spotlighted their efforts, creating awareness that spread beyond London, inspiring riders and communities elsewhere to foster similar movements. Final reflections. Months turned into a year, and as they celebrated their anniversary of community engagement, Jake reflected on how far they had come. Gathered together in the heart of London, surrounded by friends, family, and fellow bikers, they recognized the bond formed through respect, understanding, and collaboration. "Thank you all for making this journey possible," Jake said, as he addressed the crowd, his heart full of gratitude. "What began as a moment of recklessness has turned into an incredible opportunity for growth for all of us. Let's continue to build bridges and create a community defined by respect." As the crowd erupted in applause, Marcus stood by Jake's side, nodding in agreement. "Here's to the future," he declared, raising his drink in a salute. "To respect unity and the incredible journeys that await us." And so, the story of the biker and the royal guard lived on, evolving from a cautionary tale into a transformative journey that inspired change. It was a testament to the fact that in life's vast tapestry, respect is the thread that weaves the stories of many together, reminding us of the power of humility and the importance of learning from our experiences. The laughter, camaraderie, and friendships created from that one reckless moment reminded everyone that the unexpected encounters, both good and bad, could lead to moments of growth, understanding, and a future where respect ruled the day.